Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to continue my discussion on Springleaf Upper Thomson Parcel B, and incidentally the name is out, it's called Springleaf Residence. So if you notice, I believe some of the agents have been talking about this plot right outside Springleaf MRT. And before I begin, once again, thank you very much for following me through for this almost 6 months to 7 months of journey. Very happy if you are watching my video, and thank you very much once again. Do remember to help me to like and subscribe, or if not, forward this video to someone that you think it makes sense to, and hopefully this help them create some clarity in their property decisions. Okay, let me go back to Springleaf Parcel B, which is Springleaf Residence. I think this is one of the interesting or watchful outside central area condo, OCR condo to look at, because number one, it is literally right near the MRT. It is in a low density area and it's relatively near to town, because in my previous video I did mention if you are to be on the Thomson-East Line, it takes you about 30 minutes to get down to Orchard and Orchard Boulevard, that area, and even down to Great World. Okay, so I'm also very excited to talk about the MRT line, Thomson-East Line, and what are the upcoming launches that are going to happen along Thomson-East Line. Okay, so in today's topic, I'm going to talk about is Masterplan changes in Upper Thomson area and similar trend occurring in District 19. So I try to map out these two in terms of this number 3 transformation comparison, and we can see how the changes in District 9 over the past almost 20 years resulted in the price appreciation, or actually drives more demand, more people living in District 19 from Punggol all the way down to Serangoon, to Woodleigh, and all the way up to Potong Pasir. Okay, then of course number 4 I'm going to talk about is the leading indicators of OCR prices in 2026. Fortunately in Singapore, I think having transparency in the land bid prices, in the rough estimate for break-even prices, we can actually have a forecast of next year's OCR new price launch. And I think this has actually served many buyers over the past, since I'm in this industry almost 10 years, to help them to have an idea of what kind of prices are we going to expect next year. And more so, if we were to wait, are we able to accept the higher price down the road? And I feel that this is one of the things that I want to mention in this content. Okay, and finally, of course, more information about Springleaf Residences that is gradually released to us from the developer. Okay, if you want to book a preview for Springleaf Residence, do reach out to me. More than happy to help you do that. It should fall on the first week or the first weekend of August. Okay, so let's head on to the number 1 topic, Masterplan changes in Upper Thomson area. So in 2014, you can see that the master plan in Upper Thomson area, namely Springleaf, you can see roughly where the MRT is located, and there are yellow colored areas that forms the reserved sites, and the rest of them is subjected to more detailed planning. And if we move on to 2019, okay, you can see the difference whereby the reserve sites has been converted to lightly residential. They are actually doing a feasibility study of the land right above Springleaf MRT station. And you can see in 2023 master plan, they decided that they would keep a large part of the land parcel outside Springleaf station for parks and nature reserve, and they only have 2 plots of land right outside, which the one below is called Springleaf Residence, and the one on top would be likely a mixed development. And of course, if you look at the right, where Tagore area is, it is still being zoned under residential. And this is quite interesting because there is a train station called Tagore that is on the Thomson-East Line, yet it has not been appeared on the MRT map yet. So I believe this area is likely to be converted into residential and will bring about more rejuvenation between the Springleaf area right down to Tagore, Lentor, and then to Upper Thomson MRT station. Okay, and having said this, I like to map to what has happened before, because if we were to think back in the early 2000s or the late 90s, right, there is a similar place that is going through such a transformation. And it is also very true because I have an extended family who moved from Hougang, our grandparents' place, to Sengkang, to Punggol area. And this is actually what I'm going to mention about. So I feel that there is actually a very similar kind of transformation that has happened at Punggol, Sengkang, and Bangkok, mirroring what has happened at Woodlands, North, Woodlands, and Woodlands South. Okay, so if we were to have mapped what has happened before in District 19, okay, with the commencement of the Northeast MRT station line, okay, from all the way from Punggol connecting down towards Dhoby Ghaut, we will pass by Sengkang, Bangkok, Hougang, Kovan, Serangoon, and Woodleigh. This has brought about a lot of convenience and brought about a lot of demand for houses in this along this northeast line. Similar changes and transformation can also be seen in the early 90s to year 2000 in District 19, namely Punggol, Sengkang, Bangkok, Hougang, all the way down to Serangoon and Woodleigh, because of the presence of the Northeast MRT line in the year 2000 onwards. This brings about a lot of convenience, a lot of people down towards town, and eventually a lot of demand for houses along this MRT line. And on top of that, in year 2000, there is also the commencement of KPE, which really helps a lot of people living in the Northeast to be connected to CBD. And if you were to map this interesting phenomenon that has happened in the early 2000s to what is going to happen down the road in the next 5 to 10 years along the Thomson-East Line, you can see the Woodlands area, which is divided into three portions, Woodlands North, Woodlands, and Woodlands South, seemingly appears to be similar to Punggol, Sengkang, and Bangkok. And coming down towards Springleaf all the way down to Upper Thomson seemingly also mirrors towards Hougang, Woodleigh, and Potong Pasir. And on top of that, in District 19, we have the KPE. Over in the central, I'll call this a central north area, we eventually have the commencement of the north-south corridor, which will help to bring even more convenience for people living in the north area from Gambas all the way down to Upper Thomson and on towards Rochor area, which is where central part of Singapore is. This would actually eventually help to bring on more acceptance and more people moving into such an area, which has been tested and proven in District 19 before. Okay, so if you were to map out how this affects the appreciation, because homeowners always like to ask me, Gary, you tell me about the transformation. So what can we expect for the prices down the road? Is there going to be demand? Okay, of course, I can't exactly tell you what is the demand for the future, but you can see why the government is very keen on trying to do up the Thomson-East Line, because they probably has test bid it on the North-East Line before, and it seems to work out very well. If we take the price appreciation over the past 20 years, starting from the commencement of North-East Line, okay, and to the introduction of KPE in 2008, eventually to having Bidadari HDB's estate being established in 2013 onwards, you can see how condo prices have moved from around 400 PSF right up to 1,000 PSF in 2017 and up to today 1,006, hitting a highest of 1,008 PSF. This presents a 250% growth in the prices, and this is driven really by organic demand by real homeowners, because they really benefited from the convenience of having a North-East Line right at their doorstep, or maybe a few bus stops away from where they used to where they stay, as compared to in the 90s. I live in Serangoon. In the 90s, there is no North-East Line. I've been through that part. The only way you can get to town, there is two. One, you take a bus to Bishan, and from the red line you travel down towards Raffles, and or you take towards Paya Lebar and board onto the green line that brings you down to Raffles as well. So it really such a convenience was truly established when the Serangoon MRT station together with the Circle Line was ready, and that was myself being in the university days, and that really brought about a lot of convenience for me to travel to NTU. Okay, so I myself experienced it. I feel that this is something that Thomson-East Line will bring about a lot of convenience for people living from the north all the way to central part of Singapore, and more importantly, I'd like to show you later why this line is more interesting than the typical East-West line. Next, we do the transformation comparison. Okay, so as I have mentioned in District 19, where there is the North-East Line and the Circle Line being ready in 2004 and 2010, then we have the KPE, which is ready in 2008, along with the Bidadari Estate transformation in 2013. You can see that the price appreciation for the properties around District 19 has increased by 250% over the past 20 years. And interestingly, if you put out to per annum basis, is about 12.5%. Okay, so if we were to map the same thing that is going to happen around Upper Thomson area, we already have the Thomson-East Line operational in this area already, where you can from Springleaf go down to Orchard and then head up towards the east side of Singapore. We also have the upcoming north-south corridor getting ready the following year, likely in 2027. And they are likely to have residential developments, more residential developments. If I'm not wrong, government is likely to pump in some HDB into that area as well. Okay, so with the same feature or attributes that had happened in North-East Line, I think we can expect some appreciation or some form of demand back into this central north area, namely Springleaf, Tagore, Lentor, as well as Upper Thomson. And this is to get ready for upgraders that will come from potentially Khatib area, Chanchuria, as well as Canberra estates, whereby they want to when they want to upgrade, they want to go for somewhere more convenient. And when they want to go somewhere more convenient, reaching to Bishan, Ang Mo Kio, or Toa Payoh might be a bit too costly for them, and henceforth they might scale back a bit, and Springleaf might sit on a sweet spot. Okay, and having said this, like I mentioned earlier, why I think the Thomson-East Coast Line is very interesting, because back then when I was still, if compared to back then when I was still a student, if you ask me to take the East-West Line right all the way to Jurong, it is actually a bit boring. And as we all know, Jurong West area has not much, mostly industrial. But today, if you are a resident living on Thomson-East Coast Line and you have the chance to take the train all the way down to Tanjong Katong, Marine Parade, Marine Terrace, Bayshore, this is actually a very happening part of Singapore that finally is connected by the MRT. So I feel that if you plonk yourself living along the Thomson-East Coast Line, I think you'll enjoy a lot more when you travel along the MRT line to the other side of the line. Say for example, you are at Springleaf, you are at Woodlands. You actually took the train down. You can have a choice of going to Great World. You have choice of going to Outram, to Maxwell CBD area. If not, you can have a choice to travel a bit more up towards Gardens by the Bay. Alternatively, if you still don't want to do that, you can actually venture or explore further down right towards Marine Parade area, which was previously untapped because they do not have the MRT at that point of time in the early 2000s. So if you ask me, the Thomson-East Coast Line is really very interesting. And as I was doing a street interview, just sharing with everyone, doing a street interview, one of the beneficiary of Thomson-East Coast Line actually mentioned that it is a God's gift to mankind, because she really enjoyed having the train right outside where she stayed, which is a River Valley area, and that was there was no train at it way before Thomson-East Coast Line existed. So she felt that can bring her to work in the town area so much easier. That could also bring her down to East Coast area where she can venture off on the weekends for more lifestyle activities. So I feel that this Thomson-East Coast Line is a very has a lot of untapped potential, and that is why developers are quite confident and ready to bid for any land that is right above the Thomson-East Coast Line, because probably they also feel that this is such a important feature or important train line that is gonna bring about a lot more convenience to people in Singapore. Okay. As I have mentioned earlier, how the changes of the master plan of the Upper Thomson area, and it has been test bid before in District 19, ranging from Punggol all the way down to Serangoon and Woodleigh. And I believe our government like to do something similar. So they will like to try out something, and if it works, they will try to mimic or copy. Don't have to reinvent the wheel, so that at least this allows them to make sure that there is a demand pool, there is utilization of the MRT line. And if you ask me in totality, if you are still uncertain about being the first mover advantage of Upper Thomson area, then we got to ask ourselves, if you can turn back time in the past 15 years ago, would you have bought a condo along Punggol, Sengkang, Hougang, or even Kovan right up to Serangoon? If you have done so, could you have benefited from it? Yeah, this is what I feel that to give some clarity to my audience, because it is a very common misconception or rather it is a very common thought that Springleaf area or Lentor area or even Tagore area is a bit on the ulu, or is a bit less traveled, because really onset right before the existence of this Thomson-East Coast Line, nobody really actually goes there. But what happens when the MRT is already in there? How does that help to bring about more convenience and then henceforth a bit more appreciation in the price as demand comes in? Okay, having said that, I also like to share with everyone how I look at OCR prices down the road, because I feel that in Singapore we are generally a bit fortunate, because we can see, we can forecast what kind of launch price is it going to be the next year or the year after, because it is a very typical trend that if developer were to buy land today, they already awarded and they already bidded for the price, we can foresee that likely they will launch a year later. Usually that takes, because they have to go through a few submissions, they have to go through architect works, they have to go through the marketing process as well. So all this takes about 9 months to 12 months before they can fully launch the product into the market. But this time lag also allows us to forecast what is the price moving forward. Let's look at what is likely to be launched, continue to be launched this year, and then what is going to be launched next year. If you follow me through on the left side, what is upcoming, okay, is also another plot at Canberra Crescent. Okay, this is awarded last year, 7 August 2024, and the bid price awarded is 793. Okay, the land size is 20,437, and the break-even price estimated, okay, from each prop is likely to be 1,539, which means likely the selling price with a 20% profit and considering the 8% harmonization, we are likely to launch at around 1,990 upwards. If you see the next plot that was also awarded last year in November 2024, called Faber Walk. They buy the land for 900 per square foot. The land size is 25,795.5, and then the likely break-even price is 1,682. Okay, they are likely to launch price estimated to be 2,179. Okay, the key thing comes when next year, a lot of buyers tend to be considering, or they tend to think that, oh, current prices seems a bit expensive. So let's see what happens next year. If we were to see the launch for next year, okay, which was bought early on this year, January 2025, Dairy Farm, is already bought at the price of $1,020 per square foot. Land size is 21,881. Okay, and break-even price likely to be 1,844, which means their selling price likely to hit 2,400 PSF. And I think the next one is a bit more alarming. Bayshore, likely to launch next year in March period. They bought the land for 1,388. And interestingly, the land size is not big. It's 10,497.3 square meters. The likely break-even price is 2,343, which means to say if they were to launch, they might have to launch close to or 3,000 PSF. And the latest one that came in just this month in June, okay, at Lakeside, right above Lakeside MRT. Okay, so the bid price is 1,132. The land size is 13,485.1 square meters. The break-even price is 1,996, which means they're likely to launch at 2,500 PSF. Which means to say, you can foresee that the next year, the launch price for the OCR condos is going to be in the range of 2004, 2005, and worst case, if you were to go for the Bayshore launch, it's going to be 3,000 PSF. So what I'm trying to say is that if we were to look back on what have in my past experience, in 2017 and 2018, when the OCR resale prices are at 1,200, the new launch prices at that point of time was 1,600. And everyone already said, wow, this is actually quite expensive in comparison. Moving forward, in the last 2 years, 2023 to 2025, the OCR resale price is at 1,900 PSF. Okay, of course, this comes from the stock that TOP in 2017, 2018, when they came into the market to resell is 1,009. The new launch prices this year is around 2,100 PSF on average. And having seen the likely launch price next year, Okay, in 2026 onwards. The OCR average new launch price is going to be 2,400 PSF. What can we expect for the OCR resale prices? It's a very common question that people like to ask me. Are new launch prices expensive? Then again, that's the essence of me doing these leading indicators of OCR prices, because I feel that in Singapore, we can actually project forward what is going to be the outcome for the selling price next year. And the key question I feel that we should be asking instead is, are we okay to pay more down the road next year? Which we can see respectively at Dairy Farm, projected is going to launch at 2,400 PSF. At Lakeside, which is all the way into the west area, it's going to launch at 2,500 PSF. And even in a very attractive location like Bayshore, it's going to launch at 3,000 PSF. And if we don't want to pay for such PSF, then we look into the resale market. Are we okay that the resale price will eventually catch up as well? And in totality, this is how the OCR prices has been trending up in the past few years. And on the last part of my content, we're going to talk about a bit more about Springleaf Residence. Okay, so on the left side, you can see that actually it is being surrounded by a lot of nature, a lot of greenery, and it is also sitting near the Springleaf Nature Park as well. And that is why I think through the feasibility study, you can easily Google, they decided that they should just remain 2 or 3 plots outside Springleaf MRT station as zone as residential and 1 mixed development. And the rest would be part of the nature park. Okay, and if you think of it in Singapore, another location that has something like that, there's only one other one, which is at Beauty World MRT station. Okay, so there's only very limited areas in Singapore that is literally right next to the nature park. Okay, and I also try to emulate the kind of views because I have done a few Lentor projects. So from there, you can expect yourself to have this kind of view to being right opposite to the landed enclave, as well as if we face the other side, it will be very foresty, it will be very greenery kind of view. And incidentally, these are certain things that resale buyers also look for when they come and visit your completed unit. You know, they also like the unblocked landed view. They are okay with a greenery view, a bit of the reservoir view. These are additional attributes that Springleaf Residence can give to the buyers. Okay, and finally, we have a bit more information from the developer. Obviously, the name has decided is Springleaf Residence. It is done, but it will be built by Guaco Land and Hong Leong joint venture. There is 5 blocks. Number of levels is not confirmed, and an average of 8 units per level. Okay, it is in the OCR District 26 Upper Thomson area. Address not confirmed yet. It is definitely a leasehold right above the MRT station. Estimated land size is really very big, 32,023 square meters. As compared to what I have mentioned in my earlier part of the video. If you have watched my previous part of my video, you'll notice that none of them, the land size is near to 30,000 square meters at least. Okay, this condo will have 941 units confirmed. And interestingly, right now we are in second quarter of 2025. This expected TOP in quarter 3 of 2028. So which means to say, in a short span of 3 years, you should be able to collect keys and move into the house. And this indirectly also bring in a bit of attractiveness, because you don't have to rent the next place. If you intend to buy something new, you like something new, you obviously have to move somewhere else to stay. Either you stay with your parents or you rent somewhere else. And I feel that this interim measure don't have to be too long. Like what I have experienced in 2017-2018 period, where the TOP really takes up to 4 to 5 years even. Okay, and estimated car park lots, there are 559 lots. Okay, of which, interestingly, I think this is very important, 8 of the lots are EV, which is a very important point I learned from my recent buyer, because he really went to take note whether there is EV lots, given the increase in the take-up rate of electric vehicles, right? Okay, so this is the end of my discussion on Springleaf Residence Part 2. I will have another series to come out to talk about Springleaf Residence, because at that point of time, I'll get more information from the developer. I should be able to show you the different floor plan, the site plan, the layout views, as well as probably a bit more on the estimated pricing. And hopefully by then, developer also will give us an estimate of the price matrix to expect for the different layouts and the different sizes. If not, I would like to leave you with the last part Okay, so I like to mimic like what has happened before and what will happen again. So everyone knows Bishan Park has a very nice seamless connection to the neighborhood, and I think this is something that we can look forward to at Springleaf area as well, because there is the Springleaf Park already in existence, already set up shop already. It is just short of the condominiums that would seamlessly flow with the whole area. Okay, so this is the end of my content for Springleaf Residence Part 2. Stay tuned for the next one, as I like to bring you more information. If not, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.